The question of Jesus to his disciples at Caesarea Philippi is a poignant question. But who do you say that I am? We see that Jesus isn't particularly interested about what other people say about him, not their opinion as to who they think he is. We hear what other people have been saying about him. Some say he's John the Baptist, others say Elijah, others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. Jesus is interested in them, in those disciples, in their perspective. This is a poignant moment for the disciples because probably for the first time they cannot hide behind other people and their opinions. They cannot any longer hide behind the crowd. In the question which Jesus poses to them, who do you say that I am? Jesus is not looking for information. The question is about relationship. There is a moment in our lives when we find ourselves being asked the same question. Who do you say that I am? And we find ourselves in a place where we have to unpack that question for ourselves and answer it personally. It's interesting, isn't it, that Jesus poses that question to his disciples, to those people who he already knew. They weren't strangers. This tells us something about the depth of relationship, and Jesus is longing for us to go deeper. We come to a moment where we realize that we can no longer hide among the crowds because Jesus speaks directly to us. Because the reality is that we can know lots of stuff about Jesus, stuff, of course, being a very technical priestly term, without actually knowing him. Attending Mass and celebrating the sacraments can become routine to such an extent that it only scratches the surface. We are with him at that one level, at that surface level, but it never really leads to transformation and conversion of heart. We are faced with that question ourselves today. Who do you say that I am? I wonder how this question sits with you today. I wonder how you would go about answering that question. Because that question could be asked by our friends, by our neighbours, by our family members. Who do you say that Jesus is? They don't want to know stuff. There's that technical priestly term again. They don't want to know stuff. They are searching for connection themselves. As Pope Paul VI reminds us, and several popes subsequently have reminded us, we cannot evangelize others unless we ourselves first are evangelized. This is where our Alpha course comes into its own. Just as Jesus' penetrating gay question begins with his disciples, Alpha is a tool for our growth too, not just for outsiders. It is a vehicle through which we can encounter Christ anew. Alpha begins by helping us to unpack some of those big questions. Who is Jesus? Why does faith matter? What is the purpose of life? Can I really have a relationship with God? In a sense, the Alpha course takes us back to Caesarea Philippi, takes us back to that moment between Jesus and his disciples. Perhaps for some of us, The way we respond to Jesus' question today is simply to begin asking it seriously. That's why in September we are beginning our new series of Alpha in the parish, a safe space in which we can ask some of those big questions and search for those answers. Growth and transformation begins with an encounter moment, with the recognition moment of Peter, as we heard in the Gospel. You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. What begins with questions leads us towards a person. Amen.